If I have to start data analytics all over again, the very first tool I'm going to pick to learn with is going to be Microsoft Excel. It is soft and easy to actually go with, right? Now, not just dabbing at the surface and feel like, oh, you're done learning Microsoft Excel. That is not what it is. You have to make sure you follow these particular steps I'm going to list right now. The very first thing is for you to know how to navigate Microsoft Excel, which is to actually get whatever you want. And secondly, you have to learn what Excel understands and what Excel does not understand. This particular part here will definitely help you to minimize the numbers of errors you are going to encounter when you start writing Excel functions and formulas. After you might have learned what Excel understands and what Excel does not understand, the next thing you have to learn is Excel functions. So you have to separate financial function from other functions. If you're not trying to go into deep financial analysis, there are some functions you shouldn't even think of learning. So start with some kind of simple functions like the sum if, the count if, the average, the max, the mean, the filter function, the lookup function, the if function, or any logical functions at all, right? Now, not just learning those particular functions that matters. You have to learn the functionality of each functions. Learn the functionalities of each of the functions you are learning, how to apply them, and in what scenarios you should actually avoid either of them, right? So pick up some random data, actually try to apply those particular functions. You have actually learned to practice what exactly the behavior of those particular functions are. That is what I'm going to do differently if I have to start all over again. So next is for me to learn formula inside Microsoft Excel, which means I have to come up with my own way to solve problem. So to learn about formula, you have to mix, different functions together to create something that a default function inside Microsoft Excel could not actually do, right? This is exactly what you can do to achieve success in 2026 if you want to learn Microsoft Excel very fast. Now that we have mastered Excel functions and formulas, it is time for we to actually go into data cleaning and transformation. So right now we have to clean and transform data, and the very tool to learn inside Microsoft Excel is going to be Power Query. So Power Query can actually help you to transform and clean your data. It has a language called M code. You don't have to learn it as a beginner. All you have to do is to focus on how to actually get things done by clicking different buttons, drag and drop, and everything is going to be okay. Get the data transformed and clean, and that is what you want. So keep this knowledge because we are going to need it later. So now you have mastered how to clean data. Just spend some time to clean some data set and see what you can do with the data. And let us move into the next one, which is analyzing our data. So right away, let us keep functions and formula one side. What we need to do right now is to use pivot table to analyze our data. And this particular week, we're going to be calling ourselves a data analyst because right now we can actually make data to talk. Or just little drag and drop, you're actually good to go. You have actually tell story with data using just pivot table. But mind you, if you want to get the best out of pivot table, you need to combine the functions and formulas you've actually learned with pivot table to actually get advanced analysis. That is what you need to do. The next thing I'm going to learn now inside Microsoft Excel is going to be modeling, which is creating relationships between different tables, right? So if you remember vividly, the very first time you actually worked with a pivot table, the kind of data you worked with is actually called a denormalized data. So what do I mean by that? Which means you work with a particular data that contains the transaction, the customer, the location, the budget, the product, the subcategory, and the category in just one single giant table. So right now you have to make sense of this particular table and split it in different forms. So we call it a normalized table. So right away you don't have to actually use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index and match, or any other lookup function to bring those particular tables together to create one giant table so that you can actually use pivot table right on it. So what you need to do, you have to actually create what we call relationship between those particular tables and actually interact with it. But if you must learn this, there is one other thing you need to learn. And what is that? That is going to be DAX, which is data analysis expression. This particular language is actually, used inside Microsoft Power BI, and it's going to be an edge if we could actually learn it or introduce ourselves to it inside Microsoft Excel. So right now, we're going to actually learn how to use DAX to actually create calculations and actually, create our analysis and tell story with data. And that's going to be a very big edge over any other person that are actually learning data analysis or specifically Microsoft Excel right now. No matter how good you are as a data analyst, nobody's interested in your backend, your pivot table, your functions, your DAX, your formulas, your data cleaning and transformation. Nobody wants to see all of that. So what you want right now is either a report or a dashboard, which means right here, you need to learn about visualization, how to use charts and KPIs to actually communicate your findings to the end users, because that is what they are actually interested in. So over here, you have to learn which particular charts or KPIs would definitely go with the kind of data that you have, right? If you can actually do this right inside Microsoft Excel, it will definitely give you an edge over any other tools you are going to pick later after all. So you have to learn about charts and KPIs and how to actually apply them on the kind of data that you have. Is a necessity. It's very necessary for you to actually master this particular part of Microsoft Excel before you move into any other part of Excel or any other tools. Now that I have mastered Microsoft Excel to an advanced level, it is time for me to actually introduce myself to a different tool. And what tool would that be? So I'm going to actually choose Microsoft Power BI. Maybe your question will now be like, why Power BI? Why not Python? Why not Tableau? Why not even R or Looker Studio? Let me make it clear right here. So Microsoft Power BI is from the same company as Microsoft Excel that we have just mastered, right? Most of the things we have mastered inside Microsoft Excel can actually be transferred into Microsoft Power BI, and we can actually do well by just doing that. So what are the areas you should actually focus on if you pick up Microsoft Power BI? The very first thing you need to do is to learn Power BI navigation, how to connect to data and stuff like that. After we have done that, the next thing we have to do right now is to import all the knowledge we have from Microsoft Excel. The very first one is data cleaning and transformation, which means we're going to learn about Power Query. We don't have to learn from the scratch. We just have to actually bring the knowledge we already have and actually advance it inside Microsoft Power BI. So what is next again? After we have done that, we have to learn about modeling, which means connecting tables together, which is called relationship. And we have mastered that inside Microsoft Excel. All we have to do is just to bring this knowledge into Power BI. So once you are done now, we have to actually learn how to write DAX, which is data analysis expression. And this is what we have actually mastered inside Microsoft Excel. So it might not be an advanced one, but right now we don't have to introduce ourselves to DAX again. It's not something new. We already know that DAX exists, and it is a way to calculate, things inside Microsoft Power BI. We just have to actually start advancing our knowledge with DAX inside Microsoft Power BI. So after we have done this right now, we have to bring in the visualization knowledge we actually have from Microsoft Excel into Power BI. So now we have some visualization inside Microsoft Power BI that does not exist inside Excel. It's not a problem. All we have to do is to make sure we master how to use the new ones we actually found right here, the charts, the KPIs and stuff like that, and learn which particular data set could actually go with them. Can you see how swift, how easy it could be? If your background from Excel is an advanced one or an intermediary one, you pick up Microsoft Power BI, it's going to make everything very easy and swift to learn. So after we have done all of this, what is next? In order for you to master Microsoft Excel and Power BI or even any other tools, it's not all about watching YouTube videos or taking online courses that matters. Although watching YouTube videos will actually help you to learn different techniques, and picking up courses will definitely help you to learn and understand what those particular tools are all about. But right here, you have to actually, start creating some couple of projects by applying every single thing you have actually learned into the data set you're going to be getting for your projects. So over here, you have to be what I called industry specific. So which means you have to specifically focus on some industries. Don't just actually focus on one industry. So be able to focus on 2 to 3 industries or even more. So maybe you want to focus on sales, healthcare, HR, finance. Just pick any industry of your choice, actually focus on them. So pick up some couple of data sets on those industries and actually solve problems right on them, right? This will definitely help you to understand your functions, your formulas, your charts, every single thing we have actually, learned in the period of we try to understand what Excel is all about and what Power BI is all about and what they can do. So your focus right now is actually how you can actually make the end users to make decisions with data without basing their decision on a guesswork. So by doing this, you will definitely master Microsoft Excel and Power BI in 2026. So how about this? I believe this particular video will definitely help someone. And if it does help you, all you have to do is for you to actually give the video a thumbs up, share to your friends and family, and leave a comment and let me know what tool would you learn in 2026 and beyond. See you in my other videos.